Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at the story behind Italian high fashion.
Or alta moda.
Yes, alta moda, as they say in Italian.
Exactly.
Now, you might think,
Yeah.
we'd immediately jump to Milan or Rome, the big fashion capitals.
Okay.
But our story today actually begins in Florence
Okay.
in the early 1950s.
Interesting.
And it all starts with a man named Giovanni Battista Giorgini
Okay.
and a fashion show that he held in a very unusual location.
Oh.
His own home.
Wow.
Palazzo Torrigiani.
I see.
So get ready to be transported back in time as we unpack this pivotal moment
I'm ready.
that really shaped the global fashion industry.
Yeah, you know what's so fascinating about this whole story is that it really wasn't just a random fashion show.
Right?
It was a very calculated move
Right.
to put Italian fashion on the map.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting is that the person who did this wasn't even a designer himself.
Right. And that's what makes this whole story so interesting for us. We're diving into this scholarly article all about Giorgini.
Okay.
And honestly, it reads like a playbook for strategic success.
I like it.
So let's set the stage a little bit.
Okay.
Post-World War II,
Yeah.
Italy is on the road to recovery, but the world of fashion is pretty much dominated by Paris
Of course.
and Italian fashion.
Yeah.
At this point, let's just say it wasn't really considered a major player.
Yeah, there were definitely some attempts
Right.
to promote Italian fashion, but
Yeah.
they lacked coordination,
Right.
a real strong identity.
Exactly.
So what Giorgini understood was that Italy needed a USP,
The unique selling point.
a unique selling proposition,
Yeah.
a way to stand out from
Yeah.
that Parisian dominance.
Right. And this is where his background comes into play.
Yeah.
Because he was what was called a buying agent. So
Okay.
basically a connector between
Okay.
American department stores
Got it.
and European goods.
Uh-huh.
So he had this amazing insider perspective
Yes.
on what American consumers were looking for.
Exactly. He was in the perfect position to understand
Right.
both the supply and demand of this whole equation. And he saw a gap, that Italian fashion could fill
Right.
by offering something fresh and exciting.
Okay. So we have this savvy businessman
Yeah.
with a vision.
Yeah.
So what was his masterstroke?
Well, the 1951 fashion show
Okay.
that he organized,
Right.
but this wasn't just any fashion show. It was
Yeah.
held at his own home,
Yeah.
Palazzo Torrigiani
Yes.
in Florence. And this wasn't just a random choice. This was actually a brilliant strategic move.
Okay. I'm all ears. Tell me more.
Well, first, think about the timing.
Okay.
He scheduled it very strategically during the same week as the Paris collections.
Wow.
So that meant that the American buyers and press, who were already in Europe for those Paris shows, had to at least acknowledge Italian fashion. They couldn't ignore it.
So he basically put it right in their path.
Exactly.
So they had to pay attention.
Precisely. And the guest list was equally as strategic.
Yep.
He brought together these top designers from both Rome and Milan.
Right.
So it was really showcasing the diversity of Italian talent. However, there was a really key unifying element.
Okay.
And that was that Giorgini insisted that all the designs had to be inspired by Italian heritage and culture.
So that's the beginning of the Made in Italy brand.
Exactly. It was brilliant.
Wow.
Instead of trying to imitate those Parisian trends,
Right.
he was emphasizing what made Italian fashion unique.
Yeah.
He really wanted to establish a distinct identity in the global marketplace.
Right.
And it tapped into that rising tide of post-war national pride in Italy.
Right. So he had his finger on the pulse of the cultural mood as well.
Absolutely. And it didn't stop there.
Okay.
Giorgini also recognized that the fashion world was evolving. He included a focus on what was then called boutique fashion. So, stylish knitwear, chic raincoats, elegant sportswear.
Yeah, so he was kind of like blending high fashion with everyday elegance, a little bit like what we see
Exactly.
with some of these top Italian brands today
Yeah.
that have these ready-to-wear lines alongside their haute couture
Exactly. You got it.
collections.
And remember, this was the post-war era, a time of major social and cultural shifts.
Right.
People were looking for something different, something that reflected more modern sensibility.
Right.
And Giorgini tapped into this perfectly.
So he was able to anticipate
Yes.
these shifts in taste and lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But did it pay off?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The show was a resounding success.
Wow.
It really captured the attention of American buyers and the international press, putting Italian fashion firmly on the global stage.
So this one carefully orchestrated event, held in a private residence, no less, really set off a chain reaction.
Oh, it did?
That transformed the entire fashion world.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It really is.
This single event changed the trajectory of an entire industry.
It makes you wonder.
It does.
What those early attendees thought.
Yeah.
They had no idea that they were witnessing the birth of a fashion empire, did they?
Well, some of them probably did. The article mentions that there were some very prominent American fashion journalists there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Irene Brin, Eugenia Shepard, Bettina Ballard.
Wow. Okay, so these are
the influencers of their day.
Right. Yeah, these are some heavy hitters.
Exactly. Yeah. Writing for major publications like Harper's Bazaar, the New York Times, Vogue.
Wow. So I bet their coverage really helped.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuel the buzz around Italian fashion.
Their articles played a crucial role in shaping perceptions of Italian fashion as something fresh, exciting, and undeniably stylish.
So they're like the original fashion bloggers in a way.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
They were the ones who helped to translate Giorgini's vision into a compelling narrative that really resonated with this global audience.
Wow. So we've seen how this one event sparked the rise of Italian fashion.
Right.
But the article also hints at a much wider impact.
Yeah.
It mentions specific textile industries that benefited, like wool from Prato, silk from Como, cotton from southern Italy.
And this is where it gets really interesting because it wasn't just about a handful of designers.
Right.
It was about revitalizing an entire network of craftspeople and artisans.
Okay.
Boosting the Italian economy and establishing a sense of national pride through this Made in Italy label.
It's fascinating how this one man's vision had a ripple effect.
It did.
That touched so many different aspects.
It's a great example
of Italian culture and industry.
Of how those cultural trends can have far-reaching consequences.
Yeah.
Both economic and social.
Right, and it really speaks to his understanding of how interconnected the fashion ecosystem is.
Absolutely. He didn't just focus on that glamorous end product.
Right.
He recognized the importance of supporting the entire chain.
Yeah.
From those raw materials to the skilled hands that transform them.
And speaking of those skilled hands, the article highlights his emphasis on Italian craftsmanship as a key selling point.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about promoting the designs.
Right.
It was promoting a tradition of excellence.
Exactly.
A commitment to quality that had been passed down through generation.
Precisely. And that emphasis on craftsmanship is what continues to distinguish Made in Italy products today. You know, think about the meticulous attention to detail, the use of those high quality materials, the dedication to preserving those traditional techniques.
It's like you're buying a piece of that heritage.
Exactly. Yeah. That commitment to excellence.
Yeah, and that's a powerful message.
It is.
In a world that's increasingly dominated by mass production.
Right.
Fast fashion.
Yeah. Made in Italy represents a different approach.
Yeah.
A slower, more considered way of creating things that are built to last.
And that brings us back to Giorgini's legacy.
Yes.
He wasn't just a trendsetter.
Right.
He was a visionary who understood that true success lies in creating something meaningful.
Yes.
Something that endures.
And that's a valuable lesson for anyone, regardless of their field.
Right.
Whether you're a designer, an entrepreneur, an artist, the key is to identify what makes your work unique.
Right.
To tap into that deeper meaning.
Yeah.
To connect with your audience on an emotional level.
So it's not just about creating a product or a service.
No.
It's about crafting a story.
Yeah. There it is.
That resonates with people. And Giorgini understood this instinctively.
He did.
He didn't just showcase Italian fashion. He created this whole mythology around it, a story of elegance, craftsmanship, and national pride.
And that story continues to captivate us today.
Yes, it does.
You know, think about those iconic Italian fashion houses.
Yeah.
Gucci, Prada, Armani.
Yeah.
They're not just selling clothes.
Right.
They're selling a lifestyle and aspiration.
It's so interesting how some of those brands we associate with Made in Italy today weren't even around in 1951.
Yeah.
Yet they've all benefited from the foundation that he laid.
It's like he planted a seed that's continued to grow and blossom over the decades. And that growth wasn't limited to just fashion.
Right.
The article mentions how the success of Italian fashion had this knock-on effect on other industries.
Right. Like what?
Furniture design, automotive manufacturing, even tourism.
So it's almost like a halo effect.
Yes.
Where the positive perception of one industry spills over into others.
Exactly. And it all circles back to that initial spark.
Yes.
That moment when Giorgini dared to challenge the status quo and put Italian creativity on the world stage.
And he did it by recognizing the power of collaboration.
Absolutely.
Right. He brought together designers, artisans, manufacturers, journalists, buyers. Created this whole network of talent that amplified each other's strengths.
Yes, it was a brilliant example of how collective action can achieve far more than individual efforts.
And that collaborative spirit is still very much alive in the Italian fashion industry today.
Absolutely. Think about those family-run businesses, those multi-generational fashion houses that have passed down their skills and traditions over the years. They understand the value of working together, of supporting each other, of maintaining that sense of community that's so integral to Italian culture.
It's inspiring to see how his vision has not only endured, but also evolved, shaping an entire industry and contributing to the cultural and economic renaissance of a nation.
And it makes you wonder.
It does.
What other hidden gems are out there waiting to be discovered? What other industries or sectors could benefit from this kind of strategic thinking, this focus on collaboration and authenticity?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is.
As we move into the final part of our deep dives. But before we do, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. And how we can apply these insights to our own lives.
Sounds good.
We've been talking about Giorgini's strategy and how that, put Italian fashion on the map. But what's really striking to me is that ripple effect. It had, think about those made in Italy labels that we see today. On clothing, leather goods.
Cars even.
It's become synonymous with quality craftsmanship. And it wasn't just about clothes, right? The article talks about how the success of Italian fashion actually helped boost the entire country's image on the global stage.
This was post-war Italy, remember? A country still grappling with its past, eager to redefine itself. And this rise of made in Italy as a symbol of style and sophistication really played a crucial role in reshaping global perceptions of Italy.
So fashion became a kind of cultural ambassador in a way. Showcasing Italian creativity and craftsmanship to the world. It's fascinating how something as seemingly frivolous as fashion can have such a profound impact on a country's image.
Think about the economic impact, too. The article mentions how the success of Italian fashion revitalized these traditional textile industries.
Like we were talking about before.
Wool from Prato, silk from Como cotton from southern Italy. These regions were teeming with skilled artisans.
Family-run businesses that had been hit hard by the war.
So Giorgini's vision didn't just create this runway spectacle.
No.
It actually injected new life into these local economies and helped to preserve those traditional crafts. I mean, that must have had a huge impact on the lives of everyday Italians.
It's a great example of how, these cultural trends can have these far-reaching consequences, both economic and social.
And it speaks to his understanding of the interconnectedness of the fashion ecosystem.
Absolutely. He didn't just focus on the glamorous end product. He recognized the importance of supporting that entire chain. From the raw materials to the skilled hands that transform them.
And speaking of those skilled hands, the article highlights Giorgini's emphasis on Italian craftsmanship as a key selling point.
Precisely.
It wasn't just about promoting the designs. It was promoting a tradition of excellence.
A commitment to quality that had been passed down for generations.
And that emphasis on craftsmanship is what continues to distinguish made in Italy products today. Think about that, meticulous attention to detail. The use of those high-quality materials.
Right.
The dedication to preserving those traditional techniques.
It's like buying a piece of that heritage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That commitment to excellence.
And that's a powerful message.
Powerful message.
In a world that's increasingly dominated by mass production and fast fashion.
Yeah. Made in Italy represents a different approach.
Right.
A slower, more considered way of creating things that are built to last.
And that brings us back to Giorgini's legacy.
It does.
You know, he wasn't just a trendsetter.
No.
He was a visionary who understood that true success lies in creating something meaningful, something that endures.
And that's such a valuable lesson for anyone.
Yeah.
Regardless of their field.
Right.
Whether you're a designer, an entrepreneur, or an artist, the key is to identify what makes your work unique.
Yeah.
To tap into that deeper meaning.
Right.
And connect with your audience on an emotional level.
So it's not just about creating a product or a service.
No.
It's about crafting a story.
It is.
A narrative that resonates with people. And Giorgini understood this instinctively.
He didn't just showcase Italian fashion.
Right.
He created this whole mythology around it.
Okay.
You know, a story of elegance, craftsmanship, and national pride.
And that story continues to captivate us today.
It does. Think about those iconic Italian fashion houses.
Yeah.
Gucci, Prada, Armani.
Right.
They're not just selling clothes.
Yeah.
They're selling a lifestyle, an aspiration.
It's so interesting how some of those brands we associate with made in Italy today weren't even around back then in 1951.
I know, it's amazing.
Yet they've all benefited from that foundation that he laid.
It's like he planted a seed that has continued to grow and blossom over the decades.
Yeah.
And that growth wasn't limited to just fashion. The article mentions how the success of Italian fashion had this knock-on effect.
On other industries like...
Yeah, furniture design, automotive manufacturing, even tourism.
It's almost like this halo effect.
It is.
Where the positive perception of one industry spills over into others.
Exactly. And it all circles back to that initial spark.
Yeah.
That moment when Giorgini dared to challenge the status quo and put Italian creativity on the world stage.
And he did it by recognizing the power of collaboration.
He did. He brought together designers, artisans, manufacturers, journalists, buyers.
It's like this whole network.
A network of talent that amplified each other's strength.
Wow.
It's a brilliant example of how collective action can achieve so much more than individual efforts.
And that collaborative spirit is still so strong.
Oh, yeah.
In the Italian fashion industry today.
Absolutely. Think about those family-run businesses, those multi-generational fashion houses that have passed down their skills and traditions over the years. They understand the value of working together, of supporting each other, of maintaining that sense of community that's so integral to Italian culture.
It's inspiring to see how Giorgini's vision has not only endured, but evolved, shaping an entire industry and contributing to the cultural and economic renaissance of a nation.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
What other hidden gems are out there waiting to be discovered?
What other industries or sectors could benefit from this kind of strategic thinking, this focus on collaboration, authenticity?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is, as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
But before we do, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far and how we can apply these insights to our own lives.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
You know, tracing the roots of Italian high fashion all the way back to that pivotal 1951 show in Florence.
It's an incredible story. It is. And, you know, we've seen how a single event orchestrated by a visionary individual like this can have this ripple effect that extends far beyond just that initial splash.
Absolutely.
That makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like what seemingly small or overlooked thing has the potential to, you know, spark a revolution in other fields.
Right. What hidden gems are waiting to be unearthed.
Right, exactly.
And shared with the world.
And that's a question worth pondering.
It is.
And it really ties into one of the key takeaways from Giorgini's story. You know? The power of a fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
You know, he wasn't entrenched in the traditional ways of the fashion world.
He was an outsider.
Right.
A keen observer. With a different set of experiences.
Right. A different set of insights.
Exactly.
And that's a great point. You know, it's often those who can see things from a different angle, who can connect these seemingly disparate dots that end up really driving innovation and creating lasting change.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
What if Giorgini had just followed the existing playbook?
Right.
What if he had tried to mimic the Parisian fashion scene instead of forging a new path for Italian design? I mean, we might be looking at a very different fashion landscape today.
Right. It's almost like he took a step back and said, what if Italian fashion could stand on its own? You know, embracing its own unique heritage.
Absolutely.
Craftsmanship.
And by daring to ask that question, he opened up this whole new world of possibility.
And that's such a powerful lesson for all of us.
It is.
No matter what our field is or our area of interest.
It's about challenging assumptions.
Right.
Questioning that status quo.
Yeah.
Looking for opportunities where others might just see obstacles.
It's about having the courage to say, what if we did things differently?
Exactly.
What if we embraced our unique strengths instead of trying to fit into these existing molds?
Right. And what if we, like Giorgini, sought out those collaborators who share our vision and can help us amplify our impact?
Right.
You know, the story of Italian high fashion is really a testament to that power of collective action.
Right.
You know, the magic that can happen when creative minds come together with a shared purpose.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a challenge.
All right, I like it.
You know, think about the principles that we've uncovered today. Strategic thinking, understanding your audience, highlighting those unique qualities, embracing collaboration, seizing the right moment.
Right.
How might you apply these principles in your own life, in your own field of work?
In your own passions.
In your passions.
What hidden gems are you overlooking?
Right.
What opportunities for collaboration are waiting to be explored?
What stories are waiting to be told? Maybe there's a Giorgini lurking within you.
Maybe.
Just waiting to unleash a revolution.
I love it.
A fashion revolution, a tech revolution, a culinary revolution.
Or something completely new.
Or something completely new. The point is the potential is there.
It is.
Just waiting to be unlocked.
So go out there, explore, experiment, and dare to create something truly extraordinary.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Find your tribe. Connect with those who share your passion. And let's see what amazing things we can create together.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those what-if questions flowing.
Absolutely.